The Lakers might be cooking something big behind the scenes, and all signs are starting to point toward Andrew Wiggins. His name has been heavily linked to Los Angeles recently, and it's not just a bunch of baseless rumors flying around. This has the feel of something real, something calculated, and honestly, something we've seen before. Think about it, every off-season there's that one name that seems too expensive at first, too unrealistic. Then, as training camp creeps up and the pressure mounts, that same name somehow ends up wearing purple and gold. It's not some magic trick, it's just the Lakers doing what they always do, waiting for the right moment and striking when the ball lines up. Now, what makes this situation even more intriguing is the timing. The Lakers just locked in Luka Doncic on a long-term deal, which instantly changed the tone of their off-season. Before, there was concern about whether the front office would stay aggressive, but that's out the window now. With Luka and LeBron James as the pillars of this team, Rob Pelinka knows he has a legitimate shot to chase a title this season. That's not speculation, that's straight from the organization's mindset. They believe this group is close, dangerously close, and now it's all about rounding out the edges and making sure there's enough depth and firepower to go toe-to-toe with the best squads in the league. That's where the Wiggins talk really starts to gain momentum. On paper, it checks a lot of boxes. He's a two-way ring, experienced, battle-tested, and knows how to contribute in a high-stakes playoff environment. And let's be real, even with Rui Hachimura showing some promise, Wiggins would be a significant upgrade in that spot. The question, though, is cost. Is Andrew Wiggins the piece that truly puts the Lakers over the top? If the answer is yes, then logic says you pay whatever it takes to get him. But that's where things get murky. Because if the Lakers actually believe they was the guy, like, the missing puzzle piece to winning the championship, wouldn't they have already pulled the trigger? That hesitation could be a strategic move. Maybe the front office is playing the long game. Letting the clock tick. Letting the pressure build. Hoping Golden State, or whoever's holding the cards, starts to feel the yacht. This could all be part of a bigger negotiation tactic. Or maybe, and there is the curveball, maybe the Lakers aren't all in on Wiggins the way the media makes it seem. Maybe this is all noise. A distraction. A classic misdirection play to keep everyone watching the left hand while the real action is happening with the right. You've got to remember, the Lakers have pulled that move before. We've seen situations where all the media attention is on one player, one trade, and then, boom, a completely different deal happens out of nowhere. And honestly, that might be the smarter route. Because while Wiggins would absolutely make the team better, there is a legitimate concern about overpaying. Throwing in Rui, Dalton Netsch, and a first-rounder might be too steep. Especially when you consider the Lakers' flexibility in the next off-season, when they have access to 3 first-round picks. That kind of leverage don't come around often, and it's dangerous to burn it all unless you're 100% sure. So maybe the smarter play is patience. Let training camp check things out. Let the internal competition play out. See if someone like Jared Vanderbilt steps up. Because what if, just what if, Vando returns to form and gives the Lakers the defensive anchor on the wing they need? Every team, even the contenders, is built on what ifs. What if Beal don't fit in Phoenix? What if the Clippers implode again? What if OKC can't repeat last season's magic? The point is, the Lakers aren't the only team facing uncertainties. And that's okay. Being cautious don't mean being passive. In fact, it could lead to a more informed, more confident decision down the line. Let's say a month into the season, it becomes obvious, Andrew Wiggins is exactly what this team needs. At that point, you're not gambling. You're making a calculated move based on real evidence. That's the difference. And if the Lakers can pull that off without gutting the roster, without giving up too much future capital, that's a win on every level. But again, this could all just be smokescreens. Maybe Wiggins is plan B, or even plan C. Maybe the real target is someone like Miles Bridges, or an R.J. Barrett, younger guys with two-way upside that fit the mold of what the Lakers like to chase. Someone who brings defense, scoring versatility, and isn't a pure rental. Because as valuable as Wiggins is, there is always that looming question of how much is left in the tank, and whether his impact will match his price tag, both in assets and salary. And that brings up another key layer to this, the financial chess game. It's not just about talent, it's about flexibility. Any trade involving Wiggins is going to be about more than just getting the player. It's about both going out, both coming in, and what the books look like moving forward. A guy like Wiggins comes with a big contract, and matching that means parting was with multiple rotation players. That kind of suck-up better be worth it. Otherwise, the Lakers might be better off exploring cheaper, lower-risk options that still move the needle. Think about a potential move for someone like Matisse Thybulle or Robert Williams. Defensive-minded players who could plug specific holes, and potentially come at a fraction of the cost. If Portland comes knocking and wants 3, net, and a first for those two, and the Lakers are rewinding that against the Wiggins package, you've got to look at value. Who gives you more bang for your buck? Who helps you more without compromising the core? And there is the kicker, the Lakers might be using the Wiggins rumors as leverage. Think about it. If other teams know the Lakers have the option to go get Wiggins, that changes the negotiation dynamic. Now suddenly, Portland's offer looks a little overpriced. Now maybe they drop the asking price. Maybe other GMs get nervous, realize the Lakers have a backup plan, and that forces their hand. It's all part of the game. The Lakers are smart enough to play it. That's why this constant buzz around Wiggins could be part strategy, part reality. Maybe it's both. Because if everything falls apart, and the other options dry up, landing Wiggins at a reasonable cost is still a win. And if that's what ends up happening, if Pelinka manages to wait out the noise, let the price come down, and then slides Wiggins into this roster without giving up too much, then we're talking about a front office masterclass. You let the league talk itself in circles, and when the team is right, you pounce. Classic Lakers move. But again, don't be surprised if this whole storyline ends with a completely different name. A Miles Bridges, a surprise trade for a rising role player, or even someone completely off the radar. The Wiggins drama might just be the front page, the real action could be buried in the back. Because this is what the Lakers do. When the league is looking one way, they go the other. And that's how championships are won. And while allies are still acting on Wiggins, it's important to realize that the Lakers aren't just operating with one pass in mind. This front office has proven that they know how to navigate the chaos, and sometimes the loudest rumor is just cover for the real work being done behind closed doors. What if the Lakers are already deep into talks for a different player entirely? One that hasn't hit the media cycle yet? That's the kind of move that blindsides the league, not because it didn't make sense, but because no one saw it coming. And historically, the Lakers love operating in that space. Let's not forget that when they pulled off the Russell Westbrook trade, most people were focused on Buddy Hield. Then suddenly, boom, Westbrook was headed to LA. It wasn't until later that the full context came out. Same with the Rui Hachimura deal. Barely any buzz, and then out of nowhere, the Lakers made the move. So when the Wiggins chatter gets too loud, it's not wild to think it might be a decoy. Not that they don't want him, they probably do. But maybe they don't want to be the only team at the table offering real value, especially if Golden State is desperate to shed that salary and reset the roster. Remember, Wiggins isn't just any player, is sitting on a sizable contract, and moving that kind of money isn't easy. You need a partner who not only has the contracts to match but also the flexibility and willingness to absorb the risk. That's what makes the Lakers such a unique trade partner. They're one of the few teams that could make the money work, offer valuable rotation pieces, and still have enough left in the tank to remain contenders after the deal. But again, that only works if the price is right. There is no incentive to throw everything on the table unless you're absolutely convinced it's a championship clinching move. And what makes this whole situation even more delicate is the Lakers' current roster balance. They've got use in Nech, in Max Christie, in Allen Ochefino. They've got proven veterans like LeBron, Luka, and AD. The idea is to keep that mix intact. You don't want to lean too far into experience and sacrifice your long-term core, but you also can't afford to lean too heavily on development when the goal is to win now. That's where Wiggins is interesting, is still under SETI, as playoff experience, can guard multiple positions, and as proven he can hit big shots on the biggest stages. But the downside is expensive, and his recent inconsistency raises questions about whether he's still operating at that elite level. This is why Pelinka and his team have to tread carefully. They can't afford to make a desperation trade that leaves them sin later in the season. They've got to anticipate every angle, injuries, chemistry, rotations, all of it. Because once the trigger is pulled, there is no going back. And while Wiggins might be the best fit on paper right now, things change quickly in the NBA. One injury, one breakout player, and suddenly your entire trade strategy shifts. So why not give it a little more time? Let guys like Vanderbilt get healthy. See if Gabe Vincent can finally click into form. Watch Dalton Nech in real minutes. If two of those three step up, your whole roster situation changes. And if they don't? Then you revisit the Wiggins scenario, only now, with real evidence and more leverage. Meanwhile, don't be surprised if the Lakers front office is quietly taking calls on other names. Robert Williams, for example, when healthy, is a defensive game changer. A guy like that could anchor your second unit and give add more flexibility on offense. Matisse Thybulle brings elite perimeter defense. Is limited defensively, sure, but when you've already got scoring with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reaves, sometimes all you need is a guy who locks up the other team's best wing. And those players might be gettable at a lower cost, which gives the Lakers more flexibility down the line. Think about it this way, if the Lakers do go all in on Wiggins and it don't pan out, what's left to pivot with? You've given up a young wing, a draft pick, and probably a couple of rotation guys. If an injury happens or if the fit is worse than expected, you've handcuffed yourself. That's why having multiple irons in the fire matters. That's why having an element of surprise is such a powerful tool. Because it's not just about getting the big name, it's about getting the right name at the right time. And there is where things get even more layered. Some of the Wiggins noise might actually be coming from the Warriors' side. If they're looking to get out from under his contract, they benefit from the perception that there is a strong interest. It drives up his value. It creates bidding pressure. And the Lakers, being the biggest name in the game, become the perfect leverage tool. So Pelinka has to be sharp here. Just because some sign the Lakers are the frontrunners to enter and that's where the real action is happening. That could just be smoke. And if the Lakers fall for it and overpay, they're replaying someone else's game, not their own. This is the dance, the waiting game, the poker face, the cold calls that never get leaked. Because what's really happening right now is a series of quiet conversations. Contingency plans being built. Trade scenarios drawn up on beatboards. Pelinka is likely calling 5 or 6 teams every few days, just keeping tabs, keeping relationships warm. Because at the end of the day, the deal you make in October isn't always the deal you want in December. The market changes. Player values shift. Teams get desperate. And if you've already gone all in too early, you lose the chance to capitalize later. That's why the Lakers have to balance aggression with patience. They've made mistakes in the past by acting too fast or too slow. But this time, they seem to be threading the needle. They've positioned themselves well, a strong core, assets to move, and a clear window to contend. Now it's about timing. Pull the trigger too soon and you risk regret. What too long and someone else snatches the guy you needed. It's a big wire act, but one this front office seems more prepared for than in recent years. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. Whispers are spreading through the NBA corridors, and it's shaking the very foundation of one of the league's most storied franchises. Sources close to the matter suggest that the Los Angeles Lakers, a team synonymous with championships and glitz, might be in serious trouble. According to insiders, the NBA has reportedly flagged the Lakers for a staggering 74 violations, numbers that could send shockwaves across the league if confirmed. While details remain murky, the sheer volume of alleged infractions has fans and analysts buzzing with speculation. What could these violations entail? Industry chatter hints at everything from minor procedural oversights to potential breaches of league rules regarding player contracts, salary cap management, and internal compliance protocols. Some insiders speculate that the irregularities may even touch areas previously thought untouchable, like player out reporting or recruitment procedures. While the league has yet to issue an official statement, sources say that a formal investigation could be imminent, with sanctions ranging from fines to more severe disciplinary measures. If the rumors hold any weight, the ramifications could be massive for the Lakers. For a franchise with such a decorated history, the idea of penalties, even moderate ones, would be unprecedented in recent memory. Fans are already reacting on social media, with some suggesting that the scandal could overshadow the team's on-court ambitions this season. Analysts, meanwhile, are scrambling to piece together what this could mean for draft picks, and the future of high-profile players rumored to be affected by the alleged breaches. While no one is willing to confirm the exact nature of the violations, the vast reputation for strict enforcement has fueled speculation that the Lakers could face severe consequences. Could this be the beginning of a long, drawn-out saga that reshapes the league hierarchy? Or is it just another overblown rumor destined to fade as quickly as it appeared? Either way, the Lakers, and their legions of fans, are now in the spotlight for reasons entirely unrelated to basketball highlights. As the whispers turn into headlines, one thing seems certain: the coming weeks could redefine the narrative for one of basketball's most iconic teams. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.